Hello guys, it's Revolution. So I am excited. I am extremely excited because in Moro the Goat, greatest of all time, Dragon Ball appears to be venturing in a direction concerning the villains or antagonists per se that it never truly has before. Chapter 43 of the Dragon Ball Super manga was excellent and I am stoked for the upcoming villain. A villain that is 10 million years old, had to be dealt with by the Grand Supreme Kai himself, potentially has links to the Makaiyoshin realm, has an extremely high battle power, and possesses something that actually makes him far more dangerous than previous extremely powerful foes such as Broly and Jiren the Grey. Now of course the likes of Broly with his Super Saiyan full power state and awakened Jiren are incredibly powerful beings. Will Moro have the power level to match them, or will he be relying on something else, something different, to get an advantage over Goku and Vegeta? And I'm going to tell you why this something different makes him far more dangerous than any villain we've ever seen before. So just before we begin, and I know I've asked this question before, but I will be covering this in a video soon and I really want as many responses as I can so I can take in anything that I may not have considered. Who would win, Awakened Jiren or Broly using Super Saiyan full power? Hashtag Jiren or hashtag Broly, and all your reasons why down in the comment section. I look forward to reading them. And whilst you're doing that, I just want to give my humblest gratitude to every single one of you who have supported this channel in 2018. This channel has doubled in subscriber count. It's had no leg up by bigger YouTubers. Don't resort to clickbait or lie bait on this channel to deceive our audience just for the sake of views and subscribers. But what Revolution does have is one of the most intelligent Dragon Ball YouTube subscriber base that has continued to support me and this channel throughout 2018, a year where Dragon Ball Super was only on at the beginning of the year. This channel has doubled and I have you guys to thank for that. 2019 is going to be a big year for Dragon Ball and for Revolution. The content's going to come thick and fast. Thank you for the continued support. Keep lending me your energy, lend the Daishenken your power, but do it low key because this character we're about to talk about just might take that Genki. So as I've said, chapter 43 of the Dragon Ball Super manga was excellent and it introduced to us Moro the Goat. We got to see him fight against the Grand Supreme Kai. If you're not familiar with the Grand Supreme Kai and I'm wondering what exactly a Grand Supreme Kai is, back in the day there used to be 5 Lords of Lords, basically Supreme Kais, gods of creations if you will. The Daikaioshin, the Grand Supreme Kai, was basically the leader of all of these Supreme Kais. The Supreme Kais are basically born on golden fruit, whereas regular Kai such as the Cardinal Kai, such as King Kai, South Kai, North Kai and West Kai are born on regular fruit. You can only imagine that there was an influx of golden fruit in a short period of time. Regardless, Moro forced the Grand Supreme Kai to use the majority of his power. That could have been 51% of his power all the way up to 99% of his power. Just imagine if he was using say 90% of his power. And don't forget, he was able to match Kid Buu in battle, or at least enough to force Kid Buu to absorb. So he's arguably relative to Kid Buu at full power. That would potentially make the Grand Supreme Kai at full power approximately 10 times more powerful than Kid Buu. Now, he may have given 99% of his power towards sealing Moro's magic, so that would make him 100 times more powerful than Kid Buu. We can only really speculate at this point as to how powerful the Grand Supreme Kai was. Now, of course, 10 times more powerful than Kid Buu would arguably not even put him at Buhon levels of power. And of course, with the introduction of Dragon Ball Super into the franchise and the introduction of characters like the God of Destruction of Universe 7 Beerus, the Gods of Destructions and the high tier Dragon Ball Super characters such as Goku, Vegeta, Jiren, Hit, Broly are millions of times stronger than Kid Buu back at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Though would it really surprise you if Toriyama turned around and said the Grand Supreme Kai lost 99.999999% of his power? It wouldn't surprise me at all because that just seems to be the way Dragon Ball Super has gone. But in comparison to the current God of Creation, the Supreme Kai of Universe 7 Shin, the Grand Supreme Kai at full power before Moro was a monster in terms of power level. And don't forget, he was a god of creation as well, so he literally has creational powers, and it seems he needed them against Moro to counteract Moro's warlock abilities, his magic. And even upon disabling Moro's magic, Moro was still considered that much of a threat through power level alone. Even with the help of the Southern Supreme Kai and the Galactic Patrol, they are unable to kill Moro because his power level, even without his magic, is so high. Now just remember guys, before the Grand Supreme Kai used his technique, ability, whatever it was, that took away Moro's magic abilities, Moro was dominating the Grand Supreme Kai and the Southern Supreme Kai 2-on-1. Now, I've talked many times in my videos about abilities and techniques, or even hacks abilities that can equalize a higher power level. For example, we saw in the Future Trunks saga, we saw Zamasu's immortality equalize the difference between himself and the Super Saiyan Blue Saiyans, Goku and Vegeta, and even Super Saiyan Rage Trunks. And then again with Merge Zamasu, his immortality equalized Vegito Blue's superior strength. Obviously, Merge Zamasu's immortality started to deteriorate over time, but the point is, use of hacks abilities and even magic can be used to negate the opponent's higher power level or even equalize it, using a combination of raw power and hacks abilities. And Moro quite simply has both in his arsenal. Moro would slap Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Buu saga, he would slap Kid Buu, he would most likely slap Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, as well as Ultimate Gohan, and most likely Buu-Tenks. Obviously, when you get to Buuhan and Vegito, that is quite a difference in power, but it's quite possible that he would slap those, and of course, once again, they are nothing compared to Dragon Ball Super god tier characters. And Moro wouldn't be the first warlock slash wizard who utilizes magic to his advantage that we've seen in Dragon Ball. Obviously, some of the most recent ones, such as Obidi and his father Bibidi, they utilized magic, but they didn't quite have the power level to match their magical abilities as a warlock. They had to basically enslave somebody like Majin Buu and Dabura to do the dirty work for them. And who can forget when Bobidi tried to bring the proud Saiyan Prince under his control? Of course, Vegeta had far too much pride for Bobidi to deal with. And just on a side note, the interesting thing is Bobidi had enough magical power to be able to go to the Makaioshin realm and nab the Demon King Dabura. Considering that Moro seems to have even more magical ability than Bobidi, as well as a power level that far surpasses even Majin Buu, who Bobidi was trying to control. Could we see Moro go to the Makaioshin realm and bring forth a Makaioshin? That would certainly be an intriguing way to go forward with this story. I think we've all wanted to see the Makaioshin ever since Toriyama first announced that there were Makaioshin. And obviously, it goes without saying, Moro is a goat, and goats are often used to depict demons or the devils in a lot of fiction. Now, obviously, having magical powers doesn't mean that Moro has exactly the same magical powers as Bobidi. Obviously, there's still that chance that he does, but he may have completely different magical abilities, and I guess we'll have to find that out in future chapters of Dragon Ball Super manga. And whether it will be in a future anime remains to be seen. I highly think it will, considering it's written by Toriyama, and obviously Toei want that money, and if Toriyama is writing it, it's pretty much guaranteed to print money for Toei. And given how well the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc has started in the manga, I'd be pretty disappointed if there was a new series and this arc didn't feature in it. Now, obviously, being stronger than the characters I've just mentioned is nothing in comparison to the Dragon Ball Super characters. It's unlikely that, given what he achieved against the Grand Supreme Kai, would even put him above Super Saiyan God Goku from Battle of Gods. And we know how much stronger Goku has gotten since that, yet even at Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, he was no match for Jiren, and obviously it's unlikely even with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken it'd be a match for Broly, even though Kaioken isn't featured in the movie itself. Jiren is an utter powerhouse. He's the embodiment of strength pretty much, whereas Broly is somebody who just continuously grows in power whilst fighting. In the space of one battle, he managed to go from weaker than base Vegeta to stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta combined. It took mastery of self-movement to ultimately defeat Awakened Jiren, whereas with Broly you have to be significantly stronger than him, otherwise he will grow with you during that fight and eventually turn the tables. That's why Gogeta had to use Super Saiyan Blue to create a large enough difference in power to be able to put Broly down. Now obviously I can only speak from conjecture as to how strong Moro was during that time he fought against the Grand Supreme Kai, but I'm going to hazard a guess. I'm going to say he was a high tier Buu Saga level character. Given how strong Goku and Vegeta are now, post the Tournaments of Power, post the Broly movie, it's likely that even in their base forms, they would put Moro out of his misery. I doubt Moro's hacks abilities would turn the tables in that case, but don't forget, Moro absorbs life energy. He sucks the Genki out of planets and literally eats it. It doesn't even appear that he has to ask for permission, as Goku does with his own Genki Dharma, where Goku can literally collate energy from not just living beings, but the planets and the stars themselves. But then again, would Moro's magical abilities be able to equal equalize Goku and Vegeta's powers. I think the power difference is far too big for Moro's hacks abilities at that point, if he was only a high tier Buu level character, to be able to compete with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, because we have seen some characters use certain hacks abilities against Goku and Vegeta before, but if there's too big of a difference in terms of power, it would render Moro's magical power void. But rather than use the energy that he takes to attack an opponent, what Moro does is eats it and grows in power. Now the collation of Genki life energy seems to increase its own power exponentially, as we saw in the Tournament of Power when Goku used the Genki Dharma against Jiren. The power of the Spirit Bomb seems to be more than what the energy of each lender actually had at his disposal. The increases in power seem to be at an exponential rate. And what's more, he can do it at a distance. He doesn't even have to be on the planet to be able to take that energy. He could take your energy without you even knowing, because he doesn't have to ask permission. So as we know, after the Broly movie, Broly is still on planet Vampa. If he was to find out where Broly was, he could take Broly's energy without Broly even knowing about it or having the chance to put up a fight. Now, I'm not saying Broly is going to be in this arc in any regards. I do feel he'll come back later, but if he was to pull off something like that, that would make him stronger than Broly. And what if he managed to get to Earth and managed to steal the energy of Gohan, Piccolo, Android 17, 18, Goten and Trunks, the rest of the Z Warriors? He will be building up power rapidly. Don't forget that Frieza is also in Universe 7. What if he comes across Frieza? I doubt he will come across Beerus, but I guess it's possible. And what if he's capable of multiversal travel? What if he can travel and take the energy of the Universe 6 Saiyans or the legendary assassin Hit? Or maybe in Universe 11, Jiren's energy, Toppo's energy, Dispo's energy? What if he can travel to the Makaiyoshin realm and is able to collate energy from there, or bring forth characters from there to aid him? What if he can control people like Bobody? Goku won't be able to use his ultimate attack, the Genki Dharma, against him. So Moro could quickly grow in power to be far beyond Goku and Vegeta, potentially even at Broly and Jiren levels, potentially beyond that if he manages to get his own way. And then he also has his magic abilities to boot. Now, there are some cases in other verses where magic is seen as a higher dimensional ability. For example, Mr. Mixier's Pitalik from DC, his powers are often described as magic, a fifth dimensional imp. Now, of course, even in DC, there are characters who aren't fifth dimensional who have magical abilities, but he is an extremely strong magic user. Could we finally see Dragon Ball veer in that direction? Whilst we have seen some minor hacks abilities in Dragon Ball before, for example, Hit has his time manipulating abilities, but they're quite low level time manipulating abilities. And then of course the Angels have a lot of hacks abilities, but they aren't really characters that fight. But Moro will be the main antagonist in this upcoming arc, and it appears that he's going to have some hacks abilities. Dragon Ball is finally going in that direction. It's not going to be just about power in this arc, as it was for large parts against Jiren and especially against Broly. But of course, Goku did gain Ultra Instinct against Jiren, which has speed hacks and dodge hacks. I think he may need Ultra Instinct against Moro. But given that Moro could grow to Goku and Vegeta Super Saiyan Blue levels of power, potentially could go higher than that and get to Broly and Jiren levels of power, and who knows, maybe even beyond, but also has his magic abilities to boot. This is why Moro will be more dangerous than Broly and Jiren, even if he's not as strong as Broly and Jiren in terms of raw power. He will be a handful for Goku and Vegeta. I am very excited for the next chapter in this arc, and I really want to see it in anime form. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Will Moro be stronger than Broly or Jiren? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you've all had a magnificent holiday season and are getting ready for 2019, because it's going to be a massive year for Dragon Ball in 2019. Anyway, hit that like button, lend the Daishenkin your power, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.